I'm young, black in America, so by default, I'm angry. Every day ain't think she can change me, this system couldn't tame me. No fear can contain me. I need hope to constrain me, I need peace to maintain me, that love that sustaining, and God to explain me. Hope those bullets don't maim me. My scarlet blood don't stain me. Stained by his scarlet blood, he lived a life of no love. Fucked over by his cuz in this world. Who can we trust? Who can you trust in this world? He was set up by his girl. I see black diamonds and pearls. If only I ruled the world ruled only by I. Let's take a look inside the raging storm's eye. You will most likely see I, but we wouldn't see eye to eye, we wouldn't see. You see, hope is what I see. See peace in the raging sea. See hope in these bloody streets. Flowing blood is what I see. It flows out into a sea. Speak unto the raging sea. Tell the raging storm to cease.
Alright, what's up, man?
What's up, man?
Yo, what's your name?
Jefferson.
For the people?
Oh, my name is Jefferson Dennis.
Jefferson Dennis?
Yep.
So what do you do, Jefferson?
I used to go to St. Cloud State, but like right now, I'm like a counselor. Yeah, so I counsel like Boston Girls Club.
Right.
And like just make sure like all the kids and like got something going on for them.
Mm-hmm.
And like in my free time, I usually like just I'm like a helping friend too. Like one of my friends that needs something,
Mm-hmm.
like come to me, like I advise them, like give them advice and stuff like that.
So you see yourself as someone more of a mentor figure, like?
Yeah, like since I was like little, like I just been want to help people and stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just want to help people, like just to see my friends and do better in life. Like that's how I am. So like whenever I see my friends and like going through something, I'm always there for help. Like I'm always there to help them, encourage them, like bring them back up, you know.
So you're a model in addition to being like a youth counselor and mentor and things like that.
Yeah.
So how did you get into that?
This modeling stuff, man. Like I just like, for me, like I just like taking pictures, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I like that lifestyle, man. Taking pictures, you know, dressing up, going, like buying new stuff, shopping and stuff like that. So like, you know, so Cherry got into it, like saying, oh, you know, you want to like do a shoot for her. So I did it once, you know. I actually like it, you know. I'm like, yeah, I can see myself doing this because I like taking pictures and stuff, you know. And I feel like this is something I actually do while I'm doing down the side, while I'm doing my counseling on the side. So that's how I got into this.
So do you consider yourself as a revolutionary?
Yeah.
How are you revolutionary at what you do?
Basically, like I just try to like improve like people well-being. Make sure like all my friends is like have a better future for themselves. Because I don't like seeing my friends behind while I'm up there.
Right.
So I try to bring everybody along with me too. If I see myself doing something like, or if I see like a new project like I can help my friends in, I try to put my friends on too. So I'm like the guy who just look for new ideas to help my friends.
So I got one final question. So as you know, with all of the stuff that's going on with, you know, the protests and all of the stuff going on with, you know, cop killings and all of the crime and stuff like that particularly targets, you know, people that look like us.
Yes.
Young black men particularly are underrepresented. If you could tell the world one thing about being a young black man in America right now, what would you tell them if you could speak?
Man, like, for me it's like, you know, being a young black man in America is hard. It's like I use that to my advantage, like to give me a push to do more. Mm-hmm. I don't use it like to say, oh, I'm black, so like I'm just gonna sit there and not do nothing because I'm knowing if I go like apply for a job, I won't get it because of my skin color. I use that as an advantage to like try to do more, try to get more education, try to better myself. Like use that as an advantage to like say, just because I'm black, I'm gonna try extra hard than what everybody else trying right now. I try to go the extra mile.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself like doing my master, get my master in school counseling, working in a school as a counselor, and hopefully have family, like start a family with my kids, with wife and kids.
That's a dope vision, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Be revolutionary.
What's up, bro?
High school, man.
Nice.
Go way back.
Way back, bro.
So I see you doing a lot of different things and stuff like that, man. And you know, I wanted to get you for this little, you know, production and ask you some questions. So first and foremost, tell everybody about, you know, what you're doing and just how you've been revolutionary.
Man, this is how I've been revolutionary, man. I'm a basketball coach. I coach 8th graders. Hopped in the model scene. I've been running numbers since. You know, hopped in the acting scenes. I'm about to run scenes in that too as well. So I'm only 22, and I'm just getting started, man.
So how did you get into the, because I knew you always be like an athlete, you know, we played football in high school together and stuff like that. So how did you get transition into modeling and acting and stuff like that?
I actually feel basketball and football got me prepared for like the modeling industry, because I feel like I'm a competitor. Like, anything I do, I want to be the best at doing it. Doesn't matter, even if I'm eating food, I want to be the best food eater. I just want to be the number one. I want to make sure that at the end of the day, you're going to remember like, oh, that's Derrick Hayes. Like, I want my name to go down in history, man. It's all about being revolutionary. I just want to be that guy.
Ambitions as a rider, right?
Yeah.
So, talk to me about, where do you see yourself? What is your vision?
Man, my vision is bigger than what I can provide, man. I see me opening up a lot of kids, you know, for like, I see me opening up basketball institutions. I see me traveling around the world. Like, I see me doing so much things for the youth and for the younger generation. Like even though if I'm doing this acting, I'm doing this model, it's not for me. Like, even if I'm teaching little kids how to play basketball, like, I thrive with teaching other kids, you know, what to do with their life. Like, I wish I had guidance in my life. If I got a knowledge to tell a young kid, like, oh, man, my friend, you shouldn't be doing that. You should do this, young man. But, you know, like, when we had mentors back when we was growing up, you know, I feel like that's just our opportunity to get back to the youth in any possible way that we can, and I'm down for it.
Why do you feel that that's important to you?
I feel like that's important because when I was growing up, I really didn't have guidance. You know, I feel like when I was playing sports or like when I was doing other things, I didn't have guidance. Like, I had my parents in there, but they wasn't actually guiding me because they was from a different country. They didn't know the system that they had in America growing up. So I feel like I had to learn everything by myself. And I feel like if I could help out a young person to be like, oh, my friend, you should do this. Oh, no, you shouldn't take that route. You should take this route. You know, just for guidance to mentor young kids. And that's why I feel like, as being young as I am, I feel like we should do that. It's just good karma, man. You know, it's like chemists. You know, you put negative with negative, negative things gonna happen. You put positive with positive, positive things gonna happen. And if you give out positive energy, you get a lot of positive results. And that's just how I feel it.
Well, speaking of, you know, having that mentoring piece and things like that, I mean, if you look at, you know, the climate, the social climate as of lately with all of the, you know, the police killings and protest movements and things like that, what would you say is one misconception about young black men in America today?
I feel like their perception is that they feel like we don't know what to do, or like we're lost, but we're not lost. I feel like they feel like something is wrong with us. Why do we think like that? Why do we do things like we do? If I feel like if we had more black leaders of telling them, like, no, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't go to that club at this certain time, or you shouldn't do this at a certain time. If I feel like they had young black leaders just to teach them, I possibly feel like there's nothing possible that all this black on black killing. Like, only reason why people killing people, honestly, what I feel, because they don't have mentors telling them to do right things, or like, everybody know right from wrong. When you're born, you know right from wrong. It's just that if you want to do it or not. And if you have somebody constantly in your ear telling you that, oh no, you shouldn't do that. Maybe you shouldn't go to the club and go shoot 35 people up. You shouldn't do that. Like, it shouldn't come in your head. Like, as a human, we're a little bit vulnerable. So if we don't feel love, if we don't feel peace, I won't lie to you, man. If you never had none of that growing up in your life, you will be angry. Everything would anger you for no possible reason. You would just be lost and angry at every given time. But if you had somebody in your corner and you know you could count on, it's to tell you, oh man, you shouldn't do that. Oh my friend, you shouldn't even go to that club. Or, you know, you shouldn't go to that place at that time.
So that whole guidance thing.
Yeah, whole guidance thing, man. So everybody need guidance.
So real quick, How are you being revolutionary?
Man, I'm just starting. I'm out here trying to get every opportunity that I can. I'm out with the basketball coaching, the acting. Being 22 years old, man, I think I'm doing the damn thing.
Young, black, and gifted.
I'm black and gifted.
Don't be good, be revolutionary.
Revolutionary.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Raised around corruption, grew up around cussing. We learned from our cousins how to give a concussion, handle a gun when busting, and how not to fear nothing. We never learned a budget, so we never had nothing. Spirit of Caesar, teaching of Jesus. Live for the people.
We finally made it, man. We finally made it to this little interview, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. First, before we go any further, man, I just want to say, I appreciate you for, making this thing work, putting this together. Like I said, your aesthetic goes perfect with, what I'm trying to put out there. As you know, the theme of, the Be Revolutionary production is to shed light on young black men like ourselves, to profile them, to see just how they're being revolutionary at what they do. So, I knew you since high school days, Park Center, shout out Park Center. I always knew you to be this fly cat, playing soccer and stuff. So let's talk about that. How did you get into, fine art, fashion? How did that peak for you?
Environment, growing up in an African home, like fashion is everything, style is everything, colorful clothes, going to an event every time. So basically my environment really contributed a lot in my style and my eye and vision for fashion or not. My parents are African, specifically from Nigeria, but I was born and raised in Europe. So it's just like, as I say, two bombs in one place. So it's like I had European vibe and the African vibe in one place. So it's just like, boom, an explosion. So that really contributed a lot in my passion for fashion, creativity, style, and everything around it.
So what are you trying to do with, let's talk about, your style and stuff like that. Your style, I mean, you spoke on a little bit, with your cultural influence, but where do you get your inspiration from, or what do you base your style upon? Do you have any fashion or artistic icons you like?
I would say my icon will always be Kanye West. Kanye is like a big fuel, big gas, electricity in my whole brand, style, everyday living. So Kanye West is an icon to me, but I've always had my own brand to maintain. So as Kanye West, I have his own brand to maintain. Right. But my big icon will be Kanye West.
So you can tell Kanye West right now, if you want to work with him, look at the camera and tell Kanye West you want to work with him. Be revolutionary. Make sure you invite me too.
No problem. We'll find something to squeeze ourselves in with Kanye West, but definitely.
That's dope, man. I definitely think you got a dope ass style and shit.
I really appreciate it.
So let's kind of switch gears and things like that, because a part of, being a young black man is everything that is associated with that, that comes with our society. I mean, you're from Italy, you like I told you before, you one of the first black person I ever met from Italy. You from Naples, right?
Yep.
So tell us, I look at it as, for the most part too, as a universal struggle. I mean, yeah, it's hard being a black man in the United States of America, but it seems like everywhere you look around, it's hard to be a young black man.
Definitely.
So let's talk a little bit about, what do you think is the greatest misconception of particularly young black men?
As a young black man, we have a lot of weight on ourselves. We have a lot to carry on. It goes from stereotype, media, history, one-sided history. Just being black is like a lot to take on. And that's what makes us unique, because through all of that weight that we have to carry, we always find a way to succeed. We always find a way to be heard. We do all of this by ourselves. as much the world don't want us to be great, we're gonna be great. So that's a big part of being a black person. Like anywhere you go, you're always gonna be black, no matter what. You can't hide it. It stands out. Even if you are anywhere, being black stands out. You can't, like, there's nothing to do about it, but just to accept it that we are black, young black men, and we are creating a lot of waves. So just keep, like, all I can say as being a black person, we have to strive and always strive for the best and not accepting the norm. Create healthy noise, make sure we're heard, make sure we do everything we can to just, we can't clean the stereotype because stereotype is going to be there forever, but at least stand out of it. That's the most we can do.
So speaking of standing out and things like that, how are you standing out, or more specifically, how are you being revolutionary at what you do, your fashion, all of your interests and things like that?
That definitely makes a good point. Like my style, my brand, my everyday living set a tone to being a standout person. Me having a vision, being creative, stand out. Not just because like I'm doing something because I want to be the cool guy, but just doing something that I know I have passion for, knowing that it's my everyday call. Like I don't sleep. I'm constantly creating mood boards and I'm constantly creating things to feel like keep my mind going. So basically being a creative as a black person is definitely a big point because you can be heard in different ways, in a different way of communication.
Just give you an extra weapon to break outside that box.
Thank you.
That society trying to put us in. Right?
And and that's why like creativity like is my weapon. It's our weapon to show the world like that's not what it is. It's what it is.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. So if you can tell the world one thing about Valentino and all of your revolutionary exploits and what you're trying to do with your fashion and things like that, what is one thing the world should know about Valentino?
A lot, but none, I guess. One thing could be independent, revolutionary. One thing.
Or three.
Oh, three? Okay. I would say never accepted the everyday living. I always want to dig deeper. I always want something beyond my everyday living. That's basically it. Like what really pushes me is not settling.
Not settling.
Not settling. Not letting your environment paint who you are, but make who you are.
Right.
That's it.
So is that, I mean, because I remember we spoke, off camera or off interview about, you was talking why, you was talking about why being a huge part. Would you say that's the why? Talk to me a little bit more. I know I said, final, but
yeah,
I want you to elaborate more about what you was talking about the why driving you and stuff like that.
Yeah. Why is like my big, anytime like I have, like let's say you have a diagram, the why is like my main part. From the why comes everything else. Anytime me and my team, MV Couture, put out a visual or create a visual, we always want everybody else to understand or actually question himself like why? Why two black men are doing this? Or why two black guys are dressed up this way? Why? And as much you can ask yourself why, you're already creating a revolution. Me and you are already creating a revolution by you.
It starts with that question. Why?
Starting that question, me giving you this visual on Instagram, Facebook, or any other social media network that you see my work. And like, why? That already sparks up a revolution. Imagine my other, let's say, 10,000 followers seeing that. That's like the 1,000 people that have seen my work and asking themselves why.
Why?
So that's already a big mass of a revolution right there. So my main point is to ask yourself why. And then from there we can actually tell you because this is what it is. So that's it.
So I probably won't even have to ask this, but do you consider yourself a revolutionary?
Everyone should consider himself a revolutionary. Every black person should consider himself a revolutionist because we have a lot now at least actually on our back to carry on. So every black person in anywhere in the world, in each corner of the world, is a revolutionist.
Okay.
Because they have a lot to prove and a lot to give and a lot to show
And a lot to change.
and a lot to change.
A lot to change.
Way too much to
A lot
change.
to change.
And then we are changing a lot of things, even though the media don't want to show that part, but we are changing a lot.
But we showing that part. Well, young guys like you, we showing that part. I appreciate it, man.
Definitely.
All right, man. Don't be good, be revolutionary.
So, tell us about what you're trying to do as far as like in life and with yourself.
Well, man, first off, you know, I am Obu Marconish. I'm from a place called Brickyard, and that's in Clarksdale, Mississippi, the Mississippi Delta. And statistically speaking, I'm not even supposed to be here doing this sort of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I love my origins. I love where I come from. Man, the question is, what am I not trying to do? Well, okay, answer the question. The reason for the video, you know, I created this beard balm product. It's 100% all natural and things like that. And our tagline is, don't be good, be revolutionary.
Oh, what's up, Joe?
What's good, brother?
Hey, man.
Yeah, right on. So good to see
Finally
you,
got
man.
sat down, man.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Glad to be here, man. It's
So
cool.
let's
it's
get
cool.
to it, man. So
Yeah.
you know the gist of what we're doing here.
Right on,
you know,
right on.
Trying to,
Yeah.
you know, profile these young revolutionary thinkers, doers, beers, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So before we go any further, I want to thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for making the time in your busy schedule to sit down here at this beautiful venue, the bike shop and
Yeah,
stuff
man.
like that.
This is gorgeous. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna come out firing just yet, you know what I'm saying? So tell us about Joe Davis. Tell us about your passion, your interest. How did you get into poetry and activism? That's what I want to hear.
Word. Yeah, you know, I'm a poet, teacher, activist. I'm really just passionate about people, man. I consider myself an artist of the people, for the people. And that's really why I got into activism in the first place, is because I see people getting hurt, suffering, and I want to end that, particularly people who look like me.
Right.
You know, so that's my focus, is alleviating that suffering, ending that suffering by any means necessary. And so I feel like I've been gifted with, with spoken word poetry, with music, with creative ways to engage with other people. So I want to use those gifts to try to stop the suffering of my people.
Let's talk about that piece. You talk about, you know, ending the suffering or fighting for the people who look like you.
Right.
Let's talk about that whole, like, look deals with perception. You know, it deals with conception as well. So let's talk about, how do you think, how can I word this? What do you think is the greatest misconception or misperception, or however you want to word it, of young black men in America, the world in general?
Yeah, man. There's a lot.
I know.
There's a lot.
I told you I wasn't gonna come out firing.
Hey, no. It's a much needed question to be answered, you know, and I ain't even got the answer, you know what I mean? But I can just say from my experience, I think that one of the biggest misconceptions is that black men are dangerous, that we're violent, that we're criminal. To me, that feels like the biggest misconception. And I will say the reason why I pushed a little further and said violent or criminal is because I actually do think that we are dangerous. We're dangerous to the status quo. We're dangerous to the current system of power, one in which tries to destroy us. So when we're intelligent and when we're aware and conscious of that system, then we are dangerous because we're a threat to that system. But we're not criminal. We're not There's a stigma, a social, cultural stigma. I think that's the biggest misconception.
How do you begin to go about changing that perception, if it's even necessary to change? Like, how do you begin down that path?
Yeah, the way I was taught is to lead by example, and so I try to exhibit that through my everyday life and try to be a leader among other leaders. I don't think I'm like the sole. I'm one voice of a collective many. So I'm doing this work alongside others, and I feel like we're just trying to cultivate a culture, a movement of truth, really, just truth, authenticity, honesty of who we really are, and celebrating that. So like through my music, through my poetry, I try to celebrate my humanity, the humanity of my community, and uplift that. That's primarily my focus when I'm writing, when I'm performing. That's what I'm trying to do, is to celebrate. I think that's something that I find lacking around me oftentimes, is joy and celebration. Because I think we have to dwell in the midst of the sorrow and the heartbreak and the suffering, but sometimes we're not expected to have joy. And I wanna bring joy, to light as well.
I want to press that point.
Right.
Express more about what do you mean about we're not expected to have joy. That
right.
Stuck out to me.
Yeah. As I talked about, the system that we're living in, I think wants us to repress a lot of ourselves, a lot of how we feel. And when you turn on the TV, I don't really watch TV, but if you turn on the TV and if you're looking at the internet any amount of time, a lot of the images you see of black men are going to be images of like just struggle and heartbreak and rage, which I want to validate those emotions. Like those are all emotions that I feel and have felt, but rarely is it seen us celebrating.
Right.
Rarely is it seen us being joyful. And so I kind of want to show that.
That kind of reminds me of what people say about where I'm from, the Mississippi Delta. As you know, it's known for blues music.
Right.
And people when it comes to Mississippi, it's like, how they show Mississippi, how they portray Mississippi in general, not just black stuff, but in general.
Right.
It's always sad, and it's like this rolling sand around there that they want Mississippi to stay with the blues.
Yeah.
So I definitely get that point. So let's talk about like some of the social movements that's going on right now, like with the whole BLM movement, Black Liberation Movement. What do you think is the outlook for the revolution that we're trying to vouch for, that we're fighting for, that we're speaking for, protesting for? Where do you think we're headed?
Where we headed? That's a good question. I think we're definitely trying to bridge the gap between younger generations and older generations. I'm seeing that a lot, where you have the energy and the creativity of the young folk, but then we also need to lean on the wisdom and the experience of the elders. And so I see a lot of partnerships, a lot of collaborations, a lot of co-learning, where there's an exchange of those. Yeah, exactly. We're pushing forward. I think that's happening maybe in a way that's unprecedented because of ways that we have to connect. Not just the internet, but we've kind of created really intentional spaces for that to happen. So that's one thing I'm excited about, seeing more of that happening. Yeah, man. I see, and I mentioned social media and the internet. I think that's also a very powerful tool that's being used that our previous generations didn't have access to. And so I think that's another way we're heading. We're using technology, not just social media, but technology in general, to galvanize and to propel our movement.
To tap into your foresight one more time.
Yeah.
You just spoke very eloquently about where you think we're headed. What do you think would hinder us from getting to that place where we bridge gaps to spark change? What do you think is stopping us?
Yeah. I think that for me, one of the things that I've encountered that has been really hindering has been ego. I think when we get caught up in ourselves and when we focus just on ourselves, because I think self-care is important, and knowing yourself and understanding yourself, who you are, who you come from, and that work is much needed as well. So I'm not knocking that, but I'm saying sometimes people just get really big egos, man. They just think about it's all about them. They just want the spotlight on them. They just want a microphone. They want to be out front. All these things that can destroy movement. We have to recognize that we need each other to survive. We need to work together. We can't just focus on, I mean, even Ella Baker talked a lot about this, kind of a critique of the attention that was put on Dr. King. And not even to say his work wasn't needed, because it was, but saying that the attention that was put on him, because when a leader is taken out, then what happens to the movement? If it's not like group centered and shared power, collective power, what happens when like the one person who's always out in front gets taken out? If we're hinging all of our hope on that one person, you know what I mean? So I think we need to have, a healthy ego to where it's not overtaking the collectivism and the collaboration and partnerships that are going to drive the movement forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with you, Sam. You know, and that's a delicate balance. Because,
Right.
I mean, a leader's job, at least I feel, is not necessarily to control or to take charge of the spotlight, but
Right.
to lead more in a facilitatory role where it's I'm going to lead you to become a leader for yourself.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Yeah, I definitely agree. And we, during the Phase 4 days, I remember us having a similar conversation about that.
Yeah.
Shout out Phase 4, Minnesota.
Right on, represent.
Humanity through arts. Yeah. This your time, but
That's all of us.
in closing,
Yeah.
do you consider yourself a revolutionary? And if
Absolutely.
so, how do you consider? How are you revolutionary?
Yeah, man, I think, unquestionably, first and foremost, I do consider myself a revolutionary. And the way that I express that in my daily life is I'm trying to decolonize with everything that I do. I'm trying to decolonize my mind, decolonize the language that we're using, and really being an abolitionist as well, in all the ways that I see slavery, because I believe we live in a Slavocracy, which is a slave economy, a ruling, governing body that's sustained by slavery. And we have, the history of our country shows this, because it was conceived on the bodies of black and brown people. And then you had the Emancipation Proclamation, which would lead many to think that slavery was ended, that it was abolished. But I think it just transferred, because that economic bed was still needed. And so I think it was transferred to what we now have is the prison industrial complex. And there's
Probably worse too.
yeah, exactly, because it's kind of concealed, right? Not a lot of people are aware of this. And so I consider myself an abolitionist, studying that system and understanding how to break that down and abolish that, and then using my creativity and my passions and my gifts to not only raise awareness, but to mobilize people as well. That's how I try to do it, man. And there's different ways. I'm still learning. I'm a student of the movement, so I'm always eager to find new ways to attack and to give joy and to give life and liberation. So yeah.
I'm gonna challenge you. You're a wordsmith.
Yeah.
Say everything you want to say to the world in 3 words.
3 words. All right. Only love matters.
You can't spell revolutionary without love. Think about it. Don't be good, be revolutionary.
Yeah. Word.
This is love, man. This is dope, man.
Yeah.
Dope. All right, man. Tonight was dope, man. Yeah. So, I mean, this is all beautiful, man. Like, I really do feel like that we're on the verge of a revolution. Like, with all of the things that we're going through, all of the things that we're suffering in America as black people, oppressed people, marginalized people. But if you look at the revolution, if you look at any revolution, look at our people like we're slumbering right now. You know what I'm saying? Our people has been asleep in this American wilderness. Not to get too philosophical. Now, so you land in the bed, right? You land in the bed, you sleep, had a good night's sleep, sleeping, dreaming about this so-called American dream, and it's getting time. Morning is coming. I feel like that's where we at. We coming towards morning. Now, closer it gets to morning, you're gonna have to wake up because you're gonna have to go to work. You're gonna have to go to work to do what you gotta do. You got to start your day. So you land in bed next to your lady or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Mom come in the room or whatever your situation. Poke you. Get up. It's time to get up. Slap you, get up. You're gonna be late. And I feel like if you look at everything that's going on with the police brutality, all of the violence, they poking the shit out of us. They poking us. We still a little asleep. You know, we on the edge of the bed, we wiping our eyes and stuff, we're yawning. But it's only so many times you can get poked. Oh, it's time to wake up. Before you say, look, I gotta go and get what I gotta go and get together, you know what I'm saying? I can't go back to sleep, because after a while, you know, the sleep be so good, but when you up, you up. You ever heard somebody say, you know, when I wake up, I'm up, you know, let's go.
You can't fall back to sleep.
Right, you can't fall back to sleep. We right at that point. I feel like we're right at that point. We still swimming. Like the black liberation movements, all of these movements that's going on, poor people movement, things like that, that's the yawning, that's the stretch. But the moment, that final slap, we ain't going back to sleep. See, the system, and they notice, the system notice, the oppressors notice. So if we don't hurry up and get it together, they gonna understand that, you know, let me go and put this sleeping beast out of his misery. That's what they trying to do with the voting laws. That's what they trying to do with they trying to break into the Fourth Amendment. They trying to break that down and shit. But it's prophecy. It's prophecy. We going home. We going home. The revolution, this revolution will be televised. It will be televised. And I really believe that. I really believe that we just got to bring it, like Joe Davis was talking about, we got to bring this stuff together. We got to bridge the gap. We need women, we need men, we need young, we need old. We need all this to come together and tilt this system over. We're stronger than the oppressor. And they know that. That's why they trying so hard to oppress us. That's why they trying so hard to suppress us. But the revolution is gonna happen, man. This is why I do what I do. This is why I love this shit. This is why I was feeling your performance and stuff like that. Because when I saw you on stage, when I saw all these other people, all I could hear in my mind, we will not be silenced. We gonna get this shit together. We gonna get this shit together. Don't be good, be revolutionary, God.
Just fed my soul, man. Just fed my soul.
Don't be good, be revolutionary.
The recollections of poverty and violence, the wounds of rejection and betrayal, surviving grave depression and loneliness, and the ideal of my inevitable death has amped up my ambition and stifled many of my fears. As I grow, I find myself like a bloodhound ferociously seeking out any remaining fears so I can put them to death.
Tell me what's money, tell me what's love. I want all the above, free me like that dove. I wait for her love, I wait for God's hugs. My life in parables, hope comes in variables. This writing shit ain't the same, but I still feel the pain. I still feel the strain, I still feel insane. I still feel enchained, there's a war in my brain. Lions eating lions, we are far from Zion. We are close to dying, why bother with trying? Insufficient funds make you wanna tote guns. Live a life on the run, get it how you live it. Live it is how we live it, the sky's no limit. But some guys are timid, long run they get winded. A king they pretended, a bitch got offended. Now I'm condescending, I'm just kinda venting. I'm sorta lamenting and kinda resenting the day of my birth. What will my life be worth before I become dirt? Why do death try to flirt? She keeps flashing her skirt, so I say fuck death. I'ma come into wealth and I will marry health. I would cheat on my health with my first love, hope. She helps me to cope when my back's against the rope. Love sweet as honey.